But I can't stand my heart. I've got to make it better. Baby, I've got to take it slow. It's a sticky situation, such a small world after all. Except for the space between us. Channel 9, ceremoniously waiting to the west of the burning wall. To the great divide, while inspecting my t-shirt on the other side. It was written on your face. But I really be something. Now it's too late to stay. Gotta run. Get away now. Oh, Houston, now we have a problem. We're rapping in the dynamite. That's all about to blow. Chivalrous hand is the magic to the rescue. Baby, stand on the phone and white. Through the private door, living happily ever after forevermore. It was written on your face. Now it's too late to stay. Gotta run. Get away. Ooh, that it was reckless to begin. Oh, but still we threw our caution to the wind. Now it's too late to stay. Gotta run. Get away. To stay.
All right, just so I can just cover what I want to cover really quickly. Before I put the music back on, there is strictly ways to draw Fibo, and like the way I was taught by Steve Greger, my mentor, there's different ways that it must be done. So aside from what you see on this chart, let me go ahead and go to this chart instead, because I don't think I've even updated this. This is pretty old stuff. And it looks like this old fork I drew a long time ago is still valid to some degree. I'm kind of curious how it's going to look. Yeah, it seems like it's still valid. It still has some Fibonacci hits here. Wow, that's pretty badass. I wonder how far the fork goes. The fork must be going pretty far out. Yeah, it's a pretty old fork with warning lines too. They had hit like median hits, lower parallel hits, etc. Looks like I may have to adjust it too. Oh no, it's actually still good. Oh, so there are different ways to draw a fib, and I'll just cover the 3 ways. I've covered it before, but never on video. Let me just erase that. Erase the indicators. So the way I do my fib is on the daily, weekly, especially if it's like Bitcoin stuff like that. I do weekly, daily or 4-hour. Oftentimes daily ends up being 4-hour. And then if I want to create and have some sort of tighter stops or other fib, then I do the 30-minute fib. But as Steve Greger mentions and teaches in a special fib section or education piece, he covers mentioning the following. So when doing fib, is this on the 4-hour? When doing fib, you go from the highest, from the highest high to the low, and you go from wick to wick. So this would be one example. And I always use the magnet tool just so it's better. That way it sticks, magnetizes to it. And because I have all the templates saved, I have all the templates here. The 40% NLT Loper asked about that all the time. This is specifically for new paradigm. I mean, works for anything. It'll guarantee you if your stop loss hits, you gather 60% of the profits of the move and 40% is eroded. If you use this, you'll end up winning all the time if you focus on protecting your trade that's already running in profit. So yeah, so this is I believe this is the basic fib. And then if I go ahead and add so let's just focus on basic fib. I shouldn't have moved it to this. And because it's on the 4-hour, I have it as I have it in red. If it's 30-minute, I have it in orange. What am I going to do? I always have mine on the right. And then, so that would be one way to do the fib is from your highest high to the lowest point. Now, obviously, you can go ahead and do this one, moving to the 30-minute, at least that's how I would do it, would be doing this one here, or even doing this one to this one. Let's see. And yeah, it would be from wick to wick, from from the wick of that to this wick here. That's one of the ways to draw a fib is from get the full candle and the wick included, the top and the bottom. The second way to do the fib is you either choose no wicks at all, and that is dependent on how many hits is the fib getting. So keep that in mind, and that's what's most key is your fib getting hits, such as these levels. Are these fib levels getting hits? And you see here you have somewhat of noise here. You get wick hits here. Not to the touch, but you still get some wick hits. You get some nice, quite a few hits on 50%. I believe it's 87% of the time that price retraces. It's a statistic that Steve Greger gives us. I think it's 87, 86% of the time when price retraces, it goes between the 50 and the 61.8, which people would know it as the golden zone. So price will oftentimes retrace to in between these levels, to the 50 in between here, or to the 61.8. There are times when, the other percentage, there are times when retracements go past those levels. And that's also when these other retracements come into effect, but also the new paradigm fib. And you'll see it when I add it, more than likely we'll have touches. And it looks much nicer with the tighter stops when you move down to the 1 minute. So always keep that in mind. Now, that's one way. The second way is making sure you have at least the body. And obviously you'll end up having to use this to make sure you get it perfect. So in this case, I mean, I would say that would look fine. I mean, I don't see any issues with that. Previously, I had moved my fib to the place where it had most resistance. So I'll go ahead and add this level, and you guys see what I'm doing. So it would be, this is how I do my support resistance, and if you guys saw the video. And I would go ahead and add it to that level. That should be red. So let me just change that to red. And it should be to this level. Let me go ahead and move it to 30 minutes. And just out of curiosity, let's see what it would have been in this case. So it looks like even those levels, even this level is much cleaner than the one that I had chosen. I don't even know which one I was getting. Looks like it's up here. That level, and that would be orange. And then And then you'll see what's gonna happen. And I didn't do this on the other chart. Oh shit, I just noticed something. Oh man, what the hell did I just do? I'll just back up to the beginning then. Just press OK. Then go back to candles, go back to the 4-hour. Just noticed I messed up. Shouldn't even be that way. When doing this, is as long as you have 2 touches, you're good. If the more than 2 touches at the points, the better. So you see here on this one earlier, 4-hour, had quite a few touches. So now let's just move to the 4-hour now. And then we just switch to candles. There you go. So then in this case, where I would have placed the fib, I don't even know why it's down there. What the hell did I do? I think I'm getting distracted. Yeah, that didn't make sense. Why did I choose that fib earlier? Or I think it moved. Did it move? It shouldn't have been. Oh yeah, I think I moved it earlier. So so it'll either be right here, but because most of the movement was there, I would have placed it there. You know, and that's what I mean. You know, that if this has more hits, you know, it may possibly be the better choice when doing your fib and moving it to whatever you want. So say we don't want to use that wick, you go ahead and move it to the end wherever the candle's at. So I'm covering the second way. It's not using wicks was one way, and one of the other ways is the last way is using just the body of the candle, body to body, and just exclude the wicks. The second one is you can either use the wick and not the wick on the other, and vice versa. You know, just as long as those fib levels have pretty good hits. Now, commonly people do it from wick to wick, and that's fine. The way I do my fib, I think I am reiterating myself, is the 4-hour, you know, weekly for like, you know, other stuff like Bitcoin and things like that. I have, you know, gone from one extreme to the other big time. So you see how it almost had a hit there. I think I still have it at, let's see where I put it. It shouldn't have been there. And then I'm gonna go ahead and activate the fib. So I said I was gonna show you guys how to add it. This is pretty much just what you do. You go ahead and include all your fib levels here from this sheet that I showed you guys when you add them. This is the template when you're adding all the templates there. And you'll find all the fib levels, all the retracement, the basics, and all of them on this column. That's what you'll see on mine. This is basic, just basic. So we go ahead and so you just input them all, you know, and check. Obviously, you'll check the ones that you want of your MT4 mobile. You just add the stuff you want. I would recommend adding all the fib levels, or just go with basic, so it's much simpler and not messy on a phone, because it'll look pretty messy with all the all the retrace all or all the new paradigm fib levels. So now, if you want to go ahead and just switch the template, I'll go and switch it to, oh, what did I do? I'll just go ahead and switch it to retrace all, and you'll see how it'll populate with all of them. So now let me go ahead and do that. Let me just increase this so it's a bit more visible. And then you'll start seeing how many hits. Let me just go back to what would have been it, which would have been that high, and see how much better or how many more hits it has if I go from wick to wick. I'm pretty picky about my stuff, so I want to make sure I got the right one. So then you'll see when using new paradigm fib, you're gonna have some pretty crazy ass hits. And this is on the 4 hour. So you'll see we even get this one, we get this level, we're getting, you see the noise happening at this level. You get these here, you get these, you even get these other ones here. And I know it looks messy right now looking at it, but the whole purpose, and that's how we say new paradigm fib is not for old paradigm traders, because the whole purpose of these levels is to utilize them to your advantage to have tighter stop losses. So now we move to the 30-minute, you're gonna go ahead and see, let me move to the 30-minute. I'm gonna do the other fib that I had on this one earlier. So now, you see that 14.6 fib bounce. This oftentimes happens when the the momentum, in this case bullish, if it's very strong and there's a retrace, oftentimes the retrace happens at levels like 14.6%. And you'll see nice hits pretty much the entire time. Well, after this level, you see it here. But you see how relevant it is at these levels, in past when you look to the past. But I believe this was what I was going into earlier in the day. Actually, this happened today. Before I had the fib here, and it had retraced to 23.6, I believe it did. Unless if that was gold I was talking about. But you'll see that the hits happen at these levels. Why did I choose this low? Is because it's the most recent swing low. I could have used this one, but if I used that one, look how much different it is with the bounces, the hits, and all that stuff. You see it's still relevant. You still get all those pretty nice hits. But because this is the most recent swing low, I go ahead and use that one, especially if we're on the 30-minute time frame. And then we'll have some more nicer hits. So now we go ahead and switch that to new paradigm fib and change the template to all. It may look crazy as heck, but you'll see what I'm doing with this. Right. Oh, it's already set up. Then okay, now let's jump to the 1 minute. Now keep in mind, adding all these fibs, I showed you where to get them and how to add the templates. You just add those numbers in those columns and you'll come up with all these. This was pretty key. And let's see, what am I going to do? Go to the 1. And then let's just go ahead and activate. I have my templates. I'll show you guys how to do the templates. Or maybe at the end. I mean, I use all the stuff that I recommend to you guys. This is specifically free. It's not from Steve Greger. It just allows you to add 8 different EMAs. So that's why I have so many. This is New Paradigm, and it's 3D charting. All of which are 62 EMA, with the exception of the orange one, which is the 156 1 hour EMA, which is the 1 hour turnover EMA. And now, so you'll see how now that we have this set up, looks messy as heck. But I want you guys to see the bounces you even get with the fib, which are pretty evident with, on the 1 minute. But you see the bounces here. And that's what's key about support resistance levels, new paradigm systems, and even new paradigm fib is when you have these type of levels and you get a harmonic wave convergence on a 30-minute wave, and you have the 4 hour going down, you know that the 30-minute wave is going to cycle up and rejoin the 4 hour wave. And then, obviously it'll, cycle back down as the 4 hour cycling down. So always keep that in mind when trading new paradigm. This is also visible on TDI, but you have to study the heck out of it to be able to see this action in TDI. If you have tab 29, I will consider studying it if you don't have a big phone. But overall, you see the snaking in TDI, and you have to study that yourself on the 1/515 using FAST33. With that being said, you get these hits. You even have this nice harmonic wave convergence here with the 4 and 30-minute. But I don't want to waste too much time and go into stuff like this. But if we go to the 1 minute, you're going to see how impactful the new paradigm fib is. Let's see. If I use the 1 minute, that's not the one. So you see the 14.6 hit here. I think there was one when I was trading earlier at work. I don't recommend. It might have been, it's another hit that was previously on this chart. And now I don't want to mess up this chart because I took time to put all the stuff I put into this chart. So I'm going to go back to what I had it into. What I had it. It wasn't that. I had different lines. I erased it. So I'm just going to go all the way back because I showed you everything I wanted to show you guys. But always keep in mind, fib is done from those levels. Wick to wick, swing high to swing low. Oh, my system is freezing. Body to body, or you choose. And keep in mind, when you use the wick on one candle, and you don't use the wick on the other, it's all because you're trying to make sure that the fib you're using has as many hits and nice hits, and then it's like, and then you go ahead and choose that fib placement. So at least you guys are getting a rewind of everything we've done, because I'm trying to take my charts back to how I had them. So I didn't use the proper template to just mess with. I'll answer the questions after I'm done going back to my original chart. I think I'm almost there, finally. That's what's cool about TradingView is the fact that if you notice you messed up or you want to undo something, you can just go back. And I thought my internet didn't pick it up, but I remember choosing it or the other template unless if I got distracted. But as long as the fork that I have on there comes back to life, I know I'm finally there. And in the support resistance video that I cover all the support resistance systems that I use and that I implement, I cover how to do support resistance with line charts. In my opinion, that's the best way to do it. And oftentimes, if you've seen my stuff in the past with gold and other things, they have a lot of wick hits and nice hits, which oftentimes they've become pretty great and safe profit points or profit levels. I think I'm almost there. All right, I think I'm almost there now. It should be on the 1 hour. That's the 4 hour before. There you go. Yeah. I got distracted. Actually, this doesn't make any sense. My internet's slow right now, so I think it thinks that it's still on the other template. And I hope it doesn't think it's on the other template because I damn well know I'm on the master template. And it better not mess up my chart. Oh no, I know what I did. Well, at least I'm back where I wanted to be. That's the other US 30. I got distracted. This is my other one. So just so you guys know, it's always good to have different templates or chart layouts, because this is one I have all my data, all the tools and all the scans and everything that I've drawn. And this one is the one where the charts are much cleaner. This one's more used for you know, I guess unabridged, data that I've added, drawings and all the scans, forks, etc. This one's a much cleaner chart. But I'm just glad I came to my conscience. So now I'm just gonna check the questions or the chat. Yeah, man. So now just to get back to business, let me just go back to the fib that I was showing you guys earlier. So if you go down to the 1 minute, now just to get back on track, and then this is my 1 minute chart. All this is 3D charting, just so you guys know. And you'll see oftentimes, that you get these bounces on and this was just not that long ago, you get the bounces on the 5 minute 62 EMA, you get the wick hits on the 10 minute 62 EMA, you get the 15 minute, rejects, hits, or even bounces like we did last night on the 15 EMA, and then you get these here on the 30 minute 62 EMA. This is just the fork. I think the fork is still pretty good. It's not that bad. I have to adjust it, and I'll probably do that after the Zoom session. But if you guys are in trades already, you guys see how that's playing out.
Absolutely. Okay, I'm gonna get hard and fix myself. What?
So.
The Regents Building Craig thing. Come on, coach, you can't give this away. Remember February 2014, or as we like to call it, Craig History Month. It was a hot winter's night. We were drunk, but our judgment was on point. You hear that, Cecil? What? That's it's only 3 left. So
Yeah, so I just muted everyone. But yeah, you just seen here the fact that you have this new paradigm fib. You see this nice hit on the 30-minute 62 EMA, just bounce, hit the 30-minute 62, and then it just drops. Keep in mind that having all this, the 3D charting is powerful. I mean, I've shown you guys where to get it. And if you go to the EMA 151362, I definitely recommend you guys go ahead and watch. Here's the formula to convert the EMAs from any time frame to the time frame of your choice. So that's the formula. But I highly recommend you guys watch the video on the 51362, which covers the HTATF indicator you guys have or should be using, in my opinion, because of the harmonic targets. Aside from that, these are just 51362 examples. This is, I believe, from my friend Clay Taylor. This is here the 62 EMA. Here I think it's covering the harmonic targets. That's what's being covered on that. And it looks like it's also covering the shadow bands, which I'm not going to go into. And then it just has more knowledge on the 62 EMA. The video I posted recently, that's about the 51362. Highly recommend that if you guys are new into 51362 usage. And just really cool notes. This stuff I shouldn't be sharing because it's knowledge that we get as Tab 29 trader and precision traders. But my friend shared it to his group, and I'm like, what the fuck, So I decided to share it with you guys. This is, stuff I've shared before, but not the picture. This is the 6213. Read that. Read this. This is all about 3D charting and just other ways we trade, in new paradigm. And then here it goes a little bit more into 3D charting. But this goes into a lot of different EMAs. Now, at least now you guys know where to do your 3D charting EMAs. I would recommend you guys use this. You can search it, download it, save it. And I personally have and created my own templates for 3D charting, which is the 30-minute has all the ones you guys saw earlier. 1 minute, which is this one, 15-minute, and the 5-minute. All this other stuff is new paradigm stuff I'm studying and special things I have on this. But aside from that, highly recommend to do that. So just so I don't jump ship out of the agenda, I did cover new paradigm fib, tighter stops. Here you guys are that's one thing I haven't shown you guys. And it may not be visible if I keep it like this. So let me just do this. It behaves. Let me just move it to 5-minute. Just so it's visible at least. I'm surprised my internet's not as slow as it usually is. Now, I also recommend you guys add the HMA alerts. I know Trader Ranger uses them, and these alerts, in my opinion, are much. They give you much better hints than you've seen well, not much better, but at least in my opinion, they won't trigger as much, is what I mean, as using the new paradigm of Fast 33 Tab 29 alerts or the Extreme to Extreme alerts. So that's just some advice. But here you see how the new paradigm fib, and yesterday we had quite a few hits. And this is the 4-hour fib. I didn't do the 30-minute, so I'm actually rather curious about how that's going to look since we had hits on the 30 on the other one. And I do recall using this fib, and as you guys can tell, I didn't use that for the other one. Just out of just RAS relation. This is how I have my 30-minute levels. Now, I'm just curious about this, so I'm just going to go ahead and do it. And I remember seeing that 14 0.6. Then yeah, so that is the right one. And we had that double top earlier in the morning. You know, I know I entered somewhere around here. I know Trader Ranger placed a trade around here as well. You know, always make sure you do multi-time frame analysis, but you're going to see price action that you're not seeing in other time frames. You know, the 30-minute chart is the kind of like the middle of the road time frame. You know, and the 62 30-minute EMA, it's very much that. So that's why when we trade new paradigm, we have 4 charts open: the 4-hour, 30-minute, depending on your preference, you know, the 15, 10, or 5-minute, and then the 1-minute. And that also depends if you have Factory 3 or just tab 29. Or you just use tab 29. Now let me just go ahead and move it to, yeah, so the hit's right there. Pretty curious about how that's gonna play. And I know that shit looks fucking messy as heck, but it's all about tighter stops. I even think I could get rid of this one, but I did this fib differently, and I used it different. I remember using a different candles for that, different swing high, swing lows. So now let me just go back to the 1-minute. Trying to find that 14 hit. Oftentimes when you draw different fibs and you get stuff like this, where a previous fib matches up with a different fib, it almost becomes a strong energy point, where if it hits there, more than likely price is going to bounce up. If it breaks it, damn, it breaks it. But if it bounces on it and it doesn't break it, and you have 2 fib levels there, it makes it much more stronger of a, you know, probable rejection or bounce. If price goes down, you know, it may bounce more than likely, or it'll respect that when it's in a strong energy point, is what I'm really saying. So now I'm trying to see where that 14 is here. This is, I just wonder where this, yeah, and you see the other fib here, and I think that's the other 4-hour one, and I think that's the other new paradigm fib. 72.4 is what it is. You know, and it's cool because you see these hits on these, which, in my opinion, would be a strong energy point too. And if you took that trade, 763, 760, that's just 30 pips stop loss, 40 pips stop loss on something that's, I think this was over 1,000 pips. You know, it's about over 1,000 pips, 1,030 perhaps, or 1,300, whatever it is. You know, it's that, you know, with a stop loss that's no more than 40 pips stop loss. You know, it's much better to use 5 pips. We trade 5 pips in the paradigm, Forex and stuff. Rarely 10 pips. If you're using US 30, using 5 pips, I would say 50 pips on something that's scaled and counts pip differently, like Wanda or like Hugos or AAFX. You know, 50 pips, or if you're using a different broker, use 5, 10 pips. You know, but that's when you reach a level where you're understanding new paradigm and using new paradigm fib and using these harmonic targets, the HTATF, and you enable the current harmonic targets. You're going to see them pop up in red, because right now it's bearish, and we already had the 1362 cross. That's when these activate. If I go ahead and activate the previous harmonic targets, we're going to get the previous ones, and we may see them up here with some hits. So now if you see here at this level, you see you see, what is this? You see the previous and the current here, you know, which that's pretty badass. You know, that's the fib. You see the other ones here. If it would have bounced up, it would have either hit the 78 or even this level, this harmonic target. If you guys are curious, I'll just turn on the label so you guys know exactly what it is you're looking at. Yeah, that's not what I meant to do. There you go. And so it'll let you guys know exactly what you're looking at when looking at the HTATF. I believe that's 55. I don't think that's 5. No, that is actually 5 because that's a recent. But earlier on a higher time frame, it bounced off this 89 harmonic target. When trading new paradigm, harmonic targets are really based on Fibo also, which that's why I oftentimes recommend using the harmonic targets. And 89 and the 55 is like the golden zone of Fib in harmonic targets, just to let you guys know that. And you'll oftentimes get hits on the 55 and 89. And earlier today, this was the 89 hit, and it bounced really hard down, or it dropped hard, like it dropped hard. This was the 80. The fib was literally right here, exactly to the wicks, twice earlier. So that's just an example as to why I recommend you guys using the harmonic targets. And then that also just levels up your game if you're having new paradigm fib or not using it. But when trading US30, it's best to equip yourself with the tools so you have tighter stop losses and even you know exactly when to take your profit. If you want to get out and just leave with your money. So you see these hits here on the harmonic target. That's the 8. You got the 5. It looks like the 5 is somewhere up here, and the 13. So this is just on the 1 minute. So keep in mind coupling that with new paradigm fib or even just basic retrace levels, you get those hits. So let me just go to the 5 minute so we can see all the other fib that's there. That's just the fork that I do believe I have to fix, it looks like. Actually, let's see what happens if I do this. And then there's also, I wonder how this is going to look because I just added this. This is going to be, 146. Yeah, there's a different pitchfork fib levels that actually couple up here in lines. I first started, I recently found out about how to use those, which is pretty. It was pretty insane when using it in Forex. I don't know how it would look with US30. So I don't want to waste you guys' time. Let me just make sure that it's all there. Check. If you guys have questions, you can go ahead and ask while I'm doing this. Computer's going slow again. And then this is the other system I showed you guys before. So out of curiosity, I'm going to go ahead and move that. I'll add the support resistance levels and see what actually pops out. Let me go ahead and erase this. erase that, so turn that on. See how you get pretty crazy ass hits. So this is the other system I showed you guys before. You get these hits here, you get these hits on this one, you get these hits this, you get these hits on the fib, but you also get these on bodies. But you'll see that all around. So let me just erase the drawings. You'll see that all around, and I tell you guys why I recommend that. If you haven't seen the supporter assistance video, I recommend you guys do. Because if you had this, you would know, oh shit, if you're trading new paradigm and then you're basing it off of this on the 1 minute chart, you know that it's time to sell. You know, look how tight your stop loss would have been if you entered on that one, which was just recently. Your stop loss, no kidding, is 50 pips if you're trading using Hugos or AFX, or 5 pips or 10 pips if you're trading something else using another broker. But that's just the power of new paradigm support resistance, and even using new paradigm fib. So I did cover somewhat the new paradigm fib, how it's pretty insane with the precision, which is very much like the support resistance systems. That's what I gave you guys INS, or I showed you guys how to get them, INS and HTATF, which Steve Greger developed. I covered this, but this is going to be too confusing. So, but I did cover the fib, the fork stuff. That may be confusing since a lot of you guys don't use forks yet. New paradigm, I'm covering that right now. I've covered it before. Watch that supporter resistance video if you guys haven't. I actually covered, and even the newest new paradigm video that I did, I covered something and even jumped into this indicator. If you just want to trade US 30 during hours where it actually has the most volatile movement, that way you just wake up and you just trade that specific hour if that hour works for you. So watch that video, it's at the very end. I thought it was pretty epic, and I wrote down all the notes as to the times that US 30 moves the craziest, you know, and these are the different markets, these are the markets I trade the most. Maybe you guys guessed it, is the London, New York session, and when it's in between. 3D charting and setups. I did cover that already. I gave you guys the formula, how to do it. I told you guys do it based on, if you guys want the 15, the 1, you know, and the 5, 30-minute may not. If you add the EMAs, that'll be helpful. And just use TDI so you guys don't have tab 29. Randomness, that's it. So, I mean, if you guys have questions, just go ahead and ask. I'm just gonna go ahead and look at how this may look on the 1 minute. So, and you see the hits here on this. And this is just using Fibo pivots and Camarilla lines. These are my 2 favorite ones. Harmonic targets are badass too. And if I activate those, you'll see them in green or in orange. I mean orange or in red. I think in this indicator they're green. But you also have the harmonic targets in here. These are computed differently, I believe, because they didn't match up earlier when I activated these and these. So that's just to let you guys know. That's that. Let's see. Yeah, but that's just letting me know like how crazy it is trading using the support resistance systems. And you're trading on the 1 minute with the tightness. So now 1 minute. And it's dumped down to the 809. Let me just activate Fibo, camera the lines. And then I'm gonna activate that. And you see, it may look messy as heck, but it doesn't if you just remove all the EMAs, the 3D charting EMAs, and the drawings. But you'll get used to it if you just trade new paradigm and you're on the 1 minute. And obviously, you don't leave all of them on. You use the one that seems to be working best for you or have the hits. or wherever price is closest to. So in this case, the Camilla lines I would leave on. Obviously, the harmonic targets are having hits, so I would leave that on since it's very close. But you'll see that the harmonic targets are key, which is from the HTATF and the Camarilla lines. You know, but personally, I'd like leaving all of them if I'm trading US30. With Forex, you know, you'll be picky and you'll just want to leave some on, or just leave one on, or just trade harmonic targets, which are pretty powerful. But I think I'm jumping into randomness already, so I'm just curious about how this looks now. And this is just TAF 29 on the daily. I'm actually curious how it looks. Yeah, that's why I don't like drawing too much stuff on my stuff. It starts looking fucking messy. I think I had this earlier. I got rid of it because I didn't like it. I only had it just in case price dropped down and then even made bounce on this. But I think I'll just take it off. I like my sub looking too much. And that's the 5-minute fork. I'm keeping that on definitely because the warning lines may end up coming into effect in the future. Well, you know, when price drops. Yeah, but that's how you see harmonic wave convergence on the daily. And at least that's giving you the idea that it's still pretty bullish to me. You know, I'm telling you guys, when we have Apple do their thing tomorrow, it may drive US30 nuts and I may continue to go up. Or it may even have it dump nasty because the Apple thing happening tomorrow didn't go well. That's what I'm really curious about. I forget what time it happens, but you know, it may cause it to go a bit crazy. So if you guys don't have all your US30 stocks, I would suggest you guys add them to your thing. So this is Apple. Let's see how that ended today. Looks pretty much like US30. Just know that US30 is still moving. The market's close on this. Then yeah, so it looks like if depending on the news, it may even bounce here, which it looks like it's support. What funny thing is, it's where the 30-minute EMA is. See why I tell you guys to do it with line charting? I'm just gonna end this pretty soon, but I was just curious what would happen with um with Apple. But you even see here how there's harmonic wave convergence with the 8-hour and 4-hour, and it seems like even the daily's up here. So let me just turn on the daily wave. You know, it looks like there's daily 8-hour and 4-hour convergence, just like there is in the US 30, or at least was earlier last night. Did I turn it on? Oh, actually it is there. It's actually lurking behind the 8-hour EMA. You can see the red here. You can see it here. So yeah, there's harmonic wave convergence on the daily 4-hour and 8-hour. And if it does, it may even drop tomorrow, because that read a lot of news that Apple is actually to a degree overrated with what's happening tomorrow. How many people are looking forward to it? So then, that's why I recommend using triangles or patterns to trade, because you even see the harmonic wave convergence in Apple on this one here, and the bounce that correlated to the hit on the triangle with the movement up. You even see it here, this harmonic wave convergence at this level. Well, it should be exciting. Let's see what happens at market open tomorrow. I just wanted to kind of look at that really quickly. 10-minute.
What we have to do.
Yeah, you're seeing it's about across the 30-minute. About across the 30-minute. 62. See the 5:15. That looks. Yes, it's about across that. It crossed the one on the 10, but it looks like it may end up hitting this. Who knows? But let's see what happens. It'll have to break this to see if it hits this or even bounces on that and pulls back up. But I don't know. I think it should be interesting. I don't even know why this is even here. Yeah, that shouldn't even be there. That was by mistake. So That's that. Let's see what USD is doing right now. Uh, the US dollar. I mean, yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. I just wanted to guys show you guys the supporter systems that are key, uh, and all the fib. So I covered the 3 ways to fib that Steve Greger tells us how to do it. So I mean that was there. It's pretty self-explanatory, and you saw it earlier. And again, like I do mine on the weekly if it's Bitcoin stuff like that. It has dropped super, gone up super high and dropped. You know. Uh, Now I use daily, but oftentimes I stick to 4-hour and 30-minute fib. And depending on crazy moves, I may even drop it down to other time frames or just use all the new paradigm fib. Support resistance levels, I've given you guys that a few times. So the INS HTATF. Yeah, but that's pretty much it, guys. I don't want to cover too much. I'm actually curious about gold. Gold dropped a lot. Oh, shit. So I had that fork yesterday. That was a 1-hour fork. Let's see how it's behaving.